In wake of threats to Canada's sovereignty, 5 former prime ministers have banded together ahead of Flag Day, which is February 15th, releasing a letter urging Canadians to, quote, show the world who we are, we're not for sale, and we are not backing down. Joe Clark, Kim Campbell, Jean Chrétien, Paul Martin, and Stephen Harper all signed this statement. Former Prime Minister Kim Campbell joins us now from Florence, Italy. And Ms. Campbell, thank you for joining us this evening. How did this letter come about?
Well, actually, it was the initiative of Jean Chrétien, no doubt because he was in government when we got our new Canadian flag, the upcoming Flag Day, suggested to him an opportunity for us to show the flag, and perhaps for people who are feeling a little frustrated and unhappy at statements about our country from the current American president, would give us something that we could do. We have a wonderful flag. It's this Flag Day coming up, and maybe if we make a point of celebrating our flag, it will give us a sense of solidarity and something that we can do while we're hoping that issues get resolved.
Yes, I'm sure you were all surprised to get that phone call. 5 former prime ministers, progressive conservatives and liberals. What does this unity of you guys coming together like this, how important is this message to send to Canadians?
Well, I think despite the fact that we have, very rancorous politics in Canada, Canadians
yes.
like to have political battles. On big issues, we tend to come together. And I was thinking that years ago when Nelson Mandela died, Stephen Harper invited former Canadian prime ministers to join him on the Canadian delegation to Nelson Mandela's funeral. And Jean Chrétien, Brian Mulroney, and I were there. And I remember the response from Canadians was very positive, that they liked seeing us together because it gave a sense that there was a deeper underlying unity and pride in country and respect for the positions that we'd held that overcame any kind of, political animosity
yes.
or adversarialness. And so I think this is the same thing that over the last few weeks with the statements that President Trump has made, there's been a lot of closing ranks,
yes.
Both federally and provincially, as well as across party lines. And this is an opportunity for us to come together and say there are some issues where we're all Canadians.
Yes.
And that matters.
It feels like politics of old, you guys coming together. I feel like we're missing some of that in politics today. President Trump repeatedly questioned Canada's existence as a country, saying he would like us to become the 51st state. How should Canadians be responding to those words?
Well, it's offensive for the leader of another country to, impugn the sovereignty of a country. Canadians, we can argue about things ourselves. We've had separatism in Quebec and separatism in the West. We've had lots of different battles about our country, our national identity, but those are for us to have, not for somebody outside our country to suggest that perhaps we don't know how to make our own future. So it really is, it's offensive, and it's something that one would hope you would not expect from the leader of a great country. And so I think Canadians are disgruntled, to put it mildly.
When you and Brian Mulroney, when we were fighting and debating about free trade back in the day, one of the things that we always had as a constant was they're our friends, they're our next door neighbor. We call them our American cousins. How do you feel now seeing that change after these two countries have been friends and allies for so very long?
Well, trust is something that's very important in international relations. And there's not, the negotiations for the Canada-U.S. Free Trade Agreement and then the negotiations for the new agreement during the first Trump administration.
Yes.
These are always, hard-fought negotiations. I mean, countries have interests that they need to defend and they want to get the best deal possible. But part of the reason for having these agreements was to recognize that there are times when our interests aren't totally aligned and we have to give and take, and then we create agreements that we know we will live by that create some certainty. So I think when you sign an agreement and you come up with those resolutions of differences, and then the other party says, well, the hell with that, we're not going to abide by that, it really undermines your sense of trust. And in this day and age, trust is extremely important. So I think for a lot of Canadians, and certainly in my own sake, I'm not projecting on others, but the sense that I get is it's not just that they're angry, they're disappointed because we feel that the United States is better than that, and that we, mature democracies, and Canada is one of the oldest democracies in the world.
Yes.
We need to show that we live by our agreements. And if we have disagreements, then we negotiate and discuss how we can, meet our needs in the current situation. And this kind of bullying is just really offensive. Nobody likes a bully.
No, they do not.
Whether you're a grade 2 or you're an old geezer, don't like bullies.
Thank you so much for this letter to Canadians. Thank you for this unity you're showing with the other leaders. And thank you for your time this evening, Ms. Campbell. That was former Prime Minister Kim Campbell.
Celebrate the flag.
We will.
It's a beautiful one.
This weekend, we'll be celebrating that flag and waving it. Thank you, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you.